is going on, everyone? So for about the last week, there has been some major movie news that has come about concerning two massive movie studios in Hollywood. And this is some news that has made people become almost like a bodyguard for one of these two studios, and the other people are sending so many hate comments towards them, and it feels like they just want to put the whole studio on fire or something. I don't know what they're going to do towards the one studio, but if you don't know already, the two studios I'm talking about are Disney and Sony. The one everyone is getting behind is Disney. They're acting like a bodyguard for Disney. They're protecting them. They're backing them up. Whereas for Sony, it seems like a lot of fans for movies are hating Sony as of right now because of what happened for the character Spider-Man, as these two studios look like they're no longer going to be working as of right now. Who knows if that's going to stick, but for right now, it looks like Spider-Man will not be in the MCU, and people are blaming Sony. But Disney, in my opinion, is the real culprit for why this happened, and I have not been a big fan of the company Disney for the last couple of months. Why haven't I been the biggest fan of Disney for the last few months? Well, there's a lot of reasons for that, but let me say this to start the video. Disney has always been a huge part of my life. Growing up, I loved watching all of the Disney animated films, such as Beauty and the Beast, The Lion King. The Pixar films growing up were fantastic. I still love them all, or most of them to this day. Pirates of the Caribbean, another big franchise, a part of my childhood. I never truly hated Disney. As a kid, I loved them, and even up until just a few months ago, I was a really big fan of Disney. But now, for what they've been doing, and it looks like what the company is aiming for the next decade and more after that, I just can't look past it and say, wow, Disney has become very corrupt and they're going to do whatever they can to take over the movie industry. Let's go back to their purchase of Lucasfilm. At first I said, cool, Disney is one of the best movie studios working today, and to bring in a franchise like Star Wars is huge. I feel like they could do so many good things with that franchise. But then I thought about it and I said, well, they already have Marvel, now they have Star Wars, what's next? And that eventually turned into 20th Century Fox, and now we know that they have the Deadpool character as well as the X-Men. They've taken all of those characters and they're going to put them inside of the MCU. And reports have come out that Deadpool, the third one, might just be rated PG-13, which is the biggest joke I've ever heard this year. Hearing news like that makes me angry, and now that it's almost inevitable that the X-Men will show up in the MCU, I just can't help to be a bit upset, because I really did enjoy when the X-Men were in their own separate universe, having movies made that felt completely different from the films made in the MCU. And now we're not going to get that anymore because they'll be a part of that same universe. Just a few short months ago, we had the 6 big movie studios running Hollywood, and now we're down to just 5, with the Fox brand being under Disney. And I see this happening a lot more. I think Disney could end up taking over the other 4 remaining big movie studios we have in Hollywood. It would not shock me. I think Disney is out to take over the entire movie industry and more. I like it when we have separate movie studios who do their own creative things, but if Disney takes over these other 4 big movie studios, it doesn't seem like we'll be getting much more of that. Everything will be under the Disney name, and in a way, it might all end up feeling the same. I hope that never happens, but that's my biggest fear. Something should change in politics, government. I don't usually like to talk about politics, but this is one of my biggest concerns moving forward, and I really hope something can change down the line that does not allow a studio or a massive company such as Disney to take over everything else that is looked at as a competitor to them. And now that brings us to the Spider-Man situation. He's not going to be in the MCU as of this moment because the Disney-Sony deal fell through. Disney went up to Sony and asked for a 10 times increase in their stake for the Spider-Man character. So that means it would be 50-50. They'd share all the revenue. They'd both be making a lot of money. But I guarantee you, if Sony accepted that, within a few years, Disney would have taken over Sony. They would have Spider-Man under their arms, and Sony would be left in the dust with probably money given to them by Disney. I've heard a lot of people offer their opinion on the Disney-Sony situation, and I don't understand why people are getting behind Disney. When the deal fell through, it was entirely Disney's fault. They were asking for a ludicrous amount of money, a huge increase that nobody in their right state of mind would accept. I don't blame Sony. They're not going to give that much power to Disney for their most valuable franchise character and everything else that comes with that character in Spider-Man. Sony was in the right here. The fact that Disney is trying to get that much out of Sony, I never heard of anything so ridiculous in my entire life. I cannot believe Disney had the guts to ask for that much more than they were already given. The deal was perfectly fine. Disney was making a ton of money, and Sony. And now that Disney is trying to take over some of Sony's products, I really don't know if I can trust this studio anymore. And it makes me think they'll continue doing this, not just while Sony's around, but while the other huge movie studios also still exist. I think Disney is out to eat all of their products and take them in, buy these studios, and have everything be under their name and take over the movie industry. As much as I want Spider-Man to stay in the MCU because it makes sense to keep him around, that cliffhanger at the end of Far From Home makes me wondering what's going to happen next. If they decide to ignore that moving forward, that would feel really weird. So I hope we do at least get one more Spider-Man movie in the MCU, but I would be fine too if Sony just takes back the Spider-Man character and does their own thing again with him, like they used to with the Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield Spider-Man movies. Alright, so those are my thoughts on the Disney-Sony situation. Be sure to let me know down below in the comment section if you guys are in favor of Disney or Sony here. If you're new to my channel, click the subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I hope you all have a fantastic day.